Hello, welcome back to the Cricket Draft, the second episode of the Blast team reveals. If you're new here, subscribe to the channel, drop us a like on the video, let us know which players you've picked for your Blast team as well. It starts on the 29th of May, and now it's my turn to share with you my incredibly well thought out, highly researched, and what I think is high strike rate cricket team for the T20 Blast. Dan, I'm going to give you my batters to start with. I'll give you some prices as well, but you might notice a theme through the course of this top 8 anyway. But I've gone for Will Smeed, 7.7 million down at Somerset, will open the batting. Graham Clark at Durham, 6.9 million up the top there. And Leicestershire's Sol Budinger for 6.7 million. Now, if that to you doesn't scream strike rates, I don't know what will.
I need you to change your team name to Intent Merchants. Because that's what this team is. It is. We're clearly not worrying about a volume of runs. We're looking at accessing the boundary, and you found some great options there. That's for sure. Really looking forward to seeing how Smeedy does in the Blast after coming back from an injury, and Sol Budinger as well. Had a really good start to the season in red ball cricket, has an excellent record in 50 over, and I do think that that's going to translate. And actually, he wasn't far away from making my team either, so I think that's a great shout as well.
I know you can get extra points for strike rates, Dan, and that's what I'm focusing on. They might not, as you said, they might not get the volume, but what they do get will happen incredibly quickly. And as well, we've seen T20 hundreds for Will Smeed, we've seen T20 hundreds for Graham Clark. And Sol Budinger, one of those brilliant, selfless top-order batters that walks out, bats for the team, and just tries to get the Foxes off to a flyer. So that's my logic behind the three up the top. Now, my all-rounders, this is where things got not tricky, exciting, I'll use the word, because they are so important to get right. You need that match involvement with these all-rounders. You need them to bat in the top 5 or 6, and you need them to bowl 3 to 4 overs in their spell. So I'm going to give you 8.8 million. This is my big budget player, but I've gone for Sam Curran, captain of Surrey this year. I've gone for Luke Wells at Lancashire for 6.9 million with that tall wrist spin that gets that bit of extra bounce. It's awkward to get away and has found some good form in the Championship with 140 in the last week. Saif Zabe at Northamptonshire, left arm finger spin, one of the best finishers in T20 cricket and domestic cricket in the UK. And then Kent's all-rounder, Grant Stewart, who has an incredible strike rate with bat in hand and will almost certainly bowl at least 3, if not 4 overs for Kent during those games. But Sam Curran, 8.8 million, could be too expensive, but he's probably going to bat 1, 2 or 3 and open the bowling, Dan, and I wanted him in my team.
If you can get that match involvement out of Sam Curran, you pay any money for him. My worry for him would be whether he plays every game, but where I think probably more likely than not that he will. But yeah, absolutely great pick. I couldn't afford him, so I couldn't make compromises elsewhere. But I think this is a great array of different type of all rounders. When you got the sort of the left arm pace of Sam Curran with high match involvement at the top of the order. You've got Luke Wells, primarily a batter, but will bowl too. You've got Saif Zabe, who again primarily a batter, but also a great fielder as well. Probably one of the higher contributing players in terms of fielding points throughout this comp. And then you've got Grant Stewart, who comes off the back of the most incredible 180 last week in the Championship. And is someone I know personally, someone who works very hard at his game and very hard at his hitting as well. And I think obviously we're seeing the results of that as well recently in the Championship, and that's only going to translate to the Blast really well as well. So I'm sure Grant Stewart will have a prominent role in the Kent team, maybe batting at 7 or 8, and looking as that sort of finishing entry point for him.
Yeah, match involvement. It feels like this is the area where if you are going to think about spending your budget, this is the place that you should be spending it. It's a lot harder in the shorter format of the cricket draft game in order to pick up those points like you can in the Championship. It's not only a change of pace for the players, but a change of pace for those fantasy players as well that just try and figure out who they are. Would you agree, Dan? Would you agree that's probably where you should be investing your budget through that middle line of the all-rounders?
Yeah, absolutely. Because we don't have the luxury of 2 innings, I think that having players with high match involvement is mandatory for success in this particular tournament. And look, I would be very, very reticent to have a batter or a bowler purely in an all-rounder slot, because I think the all-rounders are just so valuable, and also so many good options to choose from, and not absurd price points either.
Yeah, well caveated. You can have a batter and you can have a bowler in those all-rounder slots. If you don't want the all-rounders, I think we would both recommend that you do, but you can have 5 batters and you can have 5 bowlers in your lineup if you want to. Just wouldn't recommend it. Now, the wicket-keeper, as we said in your team, I found this quite tough. You mentioned Adam Rossington because you didn't think Michael Pepper was going to keep. I've actually given my wicket-keeping spot to Michael Pepper at 7.7 million. And clearly because I think he is going to keep. But it is a really tricky one. And it feels like this is the one place in my team that could be subject to change ahead of the first game that gets underway. Because, as we said with yours, there are so many wicket-keeping options on the cricket draft game within the counties that might keep, that can keep, but in equal measure might not keep. And so I've gone for Michael Pepper at 7.7 million. We mentioned Tom Banton in yours. James Rew, John Simpson would be there, but Sussex have got 4 options. I think Tom Alsop could keep if John Simpson didn't play in the Blast as well. Ben Duckett, Joe Clark at Notts. There are so many players to pick from here that it could be quite tough and challenging to find that consistent pick for a wicketkeeper.
Absolutely. And out of all of those players, there's a chance that none of them keep. You know, with Notts might go with Tom Moores, and then
of course,
Ben Duckett and Joe Clark don't keep. And obviously we've got the Rossington Pepper debate at Essex. I think if both of them play in the team, then it will be Rossington that keeps, with Pepper being a better fielder. But yeah, like you say, Sussex have got that plethora of choice as well. So there's going to be plenty of question marks. Even looking at someone, I mean, I'm sure Sam Billings will keep, but then they've got other options as well, with Chris Benjamin as well as doing really, really well for them as in the Championship recently, and probably having more of a pedigree in white ball cricket in recent years as well.
Would you risk a player that might not take the gloves to bat there at number 7 in the cricket draft team, or would you be really keen and desperate to find somebody that's definitely going to keep?
I wouldn't say that I was desperate, but I would say that they'd have to be an unavoidable pick as a batter alone for me to want to sort of lose the keeping points, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I think that's, again, with those wicketkeeper batters, if they're coming in at number 6, number 7, then you potentially lose that match involvement with bat in hand, don't you? Yes, could be really tidy with the gloves. Is that enough points to kind of surpass what you might have got with a top order batter or not? I don't know. Hey, it's open to interpretation and you can pick whoever you want. Let us know which wicketkeeper you're picking, because as you've just heard, we've struggled. Bowlers, 3 of them. Again, I've kind of looked for a couple of players here that I know can give it a bit of a whack, and I was quite excited to see them in there, and one that, as we've mentioned already, had a fantastic 2024. But I've gone for David Payne at 8 million. He's the only crossover, Dan, between your team and mine. Everybody else is completely different, which is exciting, and I think shows the options that are available here in the Blast. But again, fantastic bowler, one of the very best to have done it, and can give it a little whack at the end if needed by Gloucestershire. Calvin Harrison for Nottinghamshire. He's on loan at Northants at the moment. Will go back for some white ball cricket. Great fielder, great bowler, and a more than handy batter to go out there and score some lower order runs if required. And then finally, Rafi Weatherall at 5.1 million. Just a bit of a bargain. Swings the new ball, bowls with good pace, good fielder as well. I think he'll turn out to be a pretty decent batter, but I don't think he'll be particularly called on for the Stillbacks this year. But I know he's been down at uni doing some exams for the end of this championship block, so get a change of kit on, get the pyjamas back on, and get out there playing some T20 cricket. But yeah, they're my 3 bowlers that I've picked.
Yeah, no, good work with David Payne in particular. I mean, as far as reliable point scorers with the ball go, I don't think you're going to get many better than him. And some really interesting options with the sort of slightly lower price point with Calvin Harrison. You do like him, don't you? You had him in the Championship as well.
Player.
Yeah, absolutely, and good on the decks as a DJ as well. And and Rafi Weatherall, so it wasn't that far away from getting into my bench as well. So that's, I think, a great value pick at 5.1 million that enables you to spend on the likes of Sam Curran elsewhere.
Yeah, absolutely. The bench. Now the bench, you mentioned all of those players in your episode, and if you've not listened to the predicted players that you've put together with high match involvement at good prices, I've managed to find 4 unmentioned players so far that I think could have a good involvement and come in at a good price. But I'm going to open up. I'm going to give you Ben Kellaway for Glamorgan at 5.2 million. That I was really shocked to see 5.2 million at the price tag for Ben Kellaway. He's had a brilliant start to the championship. He can bowl left arm and right arm, so actually that match involvement for him is going to be huge. It's not going to be a case of no, you can't bowl because we've got 2 left-handers in. You can just throw the ball in your other hand and get on with it, and clearly gives it a good whack as well. Joe Cracknell at Middlesex. That one I'm a little bit unsure of. I don't know how they're going to line up at the top of the order there for Middlesex, but at 6 million. And again, sticking with my top order of intent, Joe Cracknell fits the bill there perfectly. Worcestershire's finger spinner Fateh Singh, again, another player that I think is going to play a good role in there and will get good match involvement, will bowl a lot for 5 million. And then finally, the all-rounder for the Steelbacks as well. And I'm certain he'll play. I just don't know his exact role yet. But 5.6 million for Justin Broad. First of all, one of the best fielders you'll ever see. But definitely gives it a whack. Has batted all the way through the top order for Northants in every possible format. Has opened the bowling in first-class cricket. Will bowl in the T20 Blast as well. So I think he's going to have high match involvement for 5.6 million. I just don't quite know where that high match involvement is going to come from yet. But they were the 4 that I'd picked off the bench. And again, there were plenty of options there that got me quite excited.
Yeah, and I think with Justin Broad as well, as you say, it doesn't matter where you get that match involvement from, as long as you get it. And he's got 3 bites at the cherry almost in that respect. And I think as well, 5.6 million might fly under the radar of a lot of people and be a bit of a differentiator between your squad and a lot of others. And the Ben Kellaway pick as well looks really, really nice in terms of that match involvement too, and a good form line coming into the Blast. So I think with all your picks, really, there's definitely a lot of upside for all of them. So I reckon you put more work in than me.
I don't know about that. But there we go. There's my team. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope you've enjoyed my team announcement. I hope you enjoyed the previous episode of Dan's. Let us know who you've picked. Let us know how your team's lining up. Let us know which bargains you found, because there are so many to choose from here in the Blast. You have been spoilt for choice by the cricket draft to build these teams. The game weeks are a little bit topsy-turvy, so therefore those prices get a little bit more important for you. 3 free transfers per week if you need them, with the 3 penalties, but it's going to be slightly harder to recoup those minus 75 points. And then finally, just before we end, after game week 4, you will be permitted to make 6 free transfers, plus the 3 penalty transfers, totaling 9. So if you had a stinker to the start of the Blast, you can completely rip it up and start again. But thank you so much for watching. Dan, thank you for your time. Good luck in the T20 Blast. And hey, I'm excited to see how our teams go.
Absolutely, yeah. Can't wait. One of my favourite start of my favourite competition. So really looking forward to it.